Welcome, Katie.
Thank you. Thanks, Karen.
You've been in the music industry for 35 years, and
Yeah.
you don't even look 35, so,
Yeah, look, I guess I've always been involved in music. I mean, professionally, probably only about 25 years, but, I started initially with music, playing piano at the age of 6. So that was definitely almost 40 years ago. But according to all my parents' reports, I was singing from about the age of 2 and singing anything I could, ads on TV, nursery rhymes, whatever. I was one of those annoyingly happy children that was always singing. So I think, as to where the music comes from, it was always kind of innate. But yeah, I was blessed to have parents that introduced me to the piano young, and then I got into choir. And then, of course, as an adult, started with the professional music career, but that's the whole other story.
You've had a big career you talked about, being in the professional world, and you were one of the members of the very famous girl band Bardo. So that's very much in the commercial side of things. But you've sort of taken a real sidestep and stayed in the music, but in a whole different light with your sound healing and your meditative music and that sort of stuff. Why did you jump ship? And I'm not saying jump ship to a bad place, a bloody fantastic place. What was the catalyst that did that?
So look, I mean, what you're describing is a long journey that's occurred over 20 years. So, anyone to look back on the last 20 years of their life, it's not a jump ship. It's not a day-night switch. It's something that evolves. So for me, as you said, I started in Bardo, very commercial, moved into dance music, which was still very commercial, a bit more aligned with where I was at, but still very much a product of, working with producers, working with managers who are ripping you off, working late nights, 2 a.m, drinking too much, smoking cigarettes, taking drugs, all of that stuff that people can do when they're young. And I did all of that. But, I hit a point in my life where I really just didn't want to be a part of that anymore. I was still in love with music, but I didn't want to have to be navigating through male egos and being ripped off and abusing my body for the sake of maintaining a career. So it was a slow shift professionally, I suppose, that echoed my personal journey, which is I wanted to get well. I wanted to be a better me. I wanted to get healthy. And I had my sights set on having a family one day. So, I realized there were some things that were really, really out of alignment there that I had to shift. So part of sort of cleaning up my wellness for myself was what attracted me to shifting from being a straight up performer to going, well, maybe that music part of my life, maybe that's done, and moving into the wellness space. And that's when I retrained about 10, 11 years ago, retrained as a massage therapist, got into meditation teaching and trained into Reiki. So totally transformed my skill set. And kind of just made the assumption that, okay, it was nice. I can look back and say I used to be a pop star and that was a fun part of my life, but now I'm going to be in the wellness space. And in those early years, I didn't think that the two would come back together. But as it happened, I then discovered this movement called sound healing that was starting to bubble up in Western culture. Now, of course, sound healing's been around for tens of thousands of years. The didgeridoo is the original sound healing instrument used by our Indigenous people here in Australia. So it's not a new concept, but training as a sound healer in our sort of society was relatively new. And so when I discovered that, it's like all the pieces dropped into place. It's like, okay, wow, I can reclaim my passion and my talent for music, but do it in a way that's sober, that's mindful, and that's going to be helpful not only for me, but help other people feel more relaxed and more at ease. And that's kind of then where it's been at. And so the last 5 years of my life has been focused on this new form of music that's much more mindful, much more healing. It's good for me. It seems to be good for the people that I'm working with and creating music for. And yeah, I'm just in a much happier place when it comes to my relationship with music than I used to be back then.
Yeah. I love it. When I used to do a lot of sound healing, well, I will call it sound healing, and you might be able to correct me on this, but with with chakras, you know, because our 7 main chakras are aligned to musical notes and, you know, that sort of stuff. So is that what you're doing? Is it kind of aligning that, or are you aligning, sort of healing all the minor chakras as well, and, you know, try the whole etheric field of people, and just trying to balance the whole of people? Or is there specific sort of you know, places you aim to heal when someone's not, you know, out of alignment or something?
I think the better context to put sound healing in actually comes from my training as a meditation teacher.
Yeah.
And we know a lot more scientifically about the benefits of meditation than we do about sound healing.
Yeah.
Yes, there's certainly information from the Vedic and Indian texts about certain notes aligning with certain chakras, and to a degree, that's part of it. But I find my approach and my application of sound healing is more about creating a space where people can move into a more relaxed state. So we're talking about, you know, slowing someone's breathing, guiding them to slow their respiration, getting them to move their body into a more relaxed state. And in that state, our own immune system is able to function a lot better. Now, as to how the sound works in, I don't view my sound healing so much as I'm going to make this sound and that's going to heal your liver, or I'm going to play this tune and that's going to take your headache away, but more that guiding people into a conscious awareness of how they're experiencing the sound helps to really bring them into that present moment awareness, helps them to be more relaxed. And from that state, then your body is able to release all those feel-good hormones, those immune-boosting hormones, and elicit whatever healing it is that that person needs.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that ego mind of, I have some amazing superpower that I can heal you. Absolutely not. But that I can create a space to support people to heal themselves. And bearing in mind, this is a complementary therapy. You know, we're not out there saying sound healing is a cure for cancer or it's a cure for migraines or whatever. But alongside the other traditional therapies, absolutely incredibly helpful. Anything that helps you to be in the present moment, be more conscious of your body, feel more relaxed and more at ease is going to help your health overall. That's kind of where I see sound healing landing for people.
What sort of people are naturally coming to you? Are they people who are open, or people who are feeling like, I've tried everything, I need to try something different because I'm just going crazy at the moment? What type of...
Look, all of the above. Yeah. You know, 50% of people who come are probably already into crystals or angels, or, you know, they know about the chakras and they're already very much aware of it. But easily half the people are, as you've just described, people that are curious. You know, maybe they've been going to therapy, maybe they've got chronic pain, maybe they've got PTSD, they might have anxiety, depression, and that they've been advised to take up some form of relaxation practice, whether that's yoga, whether that's Tai Chi, whether that's sound healing, whether it's meditation. And so they do come with a form of curiosity. And it is one of those things that, you know, like any sort of healing modality, not everything works for everybody. Not everybody wants to lie down for an hour and listen to sound. For some people, they'd rather have root canal. You know, that might not be everyone's, you know, bliss point.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, they will come and experience themselves in a unique way. People say, oh, I don't have time for that. Well, generally speaking, we all have time to veg out in front of the TV and watch probably an awful lot of Netflix or Stan or whatever. So that argument doesn't really hold much weight. You know, we all do have time to take better care of ourselves, but it's how we choose to do that. You know, we're going to choose to do that eating a pack of potato chips, watching TV, or are we going to go and do some yoga or play some tennis or drop into a sound healing session? So I think, you know, it's all about choice, but people realize now that there are more choices. That the classic older choice would be, oh, I'm stressed. Well, I'll just hit the pub, or I'll, you know, overeat, or I'll overshop. But now we have other choices where we can choose to do these other sessions and classes that will help us relax, but in a way that's going to make us feel better afterwards and not just compound the problem. That self-care is mistakenly seen as a bit of a luxury and something that we do if we have time. Rather than going, no, I need to make time for this.
Mm.
And I think since becoming a parent, I've got 2 kids, they're almost 10. And, when they were younger, I used to feel guilty if I went, oh, I've got to have a massage, or I've got to catch up with a friend. But now I know better, because I know that I'm a better parent. I'm a better healer. I'm a better practitioner. I'm a better friend to the people in my life if I'm looking after myself first and actually taking positive action before things go wrong. It's rather than the old model is, well, I'll wait till I get cancer before I change my diet. Like, I'm sorry, but it's, or I'll wait to get lung cancer before I give up smoking. I'll wait to have a mental breakdown before I go to therapy. Why wait until you're in such a state of distress, rather than get on the front foot and go, well, I'm not going to wait until I'm 100 kilograms overweight to start exercising. Why don't I exercise now while I'm well and happy? And it's a lot easier to maintain physical and mental and spiritual health rather than waiting until you're at crisis point. And I think we are getting better as society doing that, getting on the front foot, going, well, all right, I'm in my 30s, probably, or maybe 40s, probably time to start taking my health and my wellness seriously. And acting before, I don't have any options left. So, I think on the one hand, generally we can say we're still terrible with self-care. But from what I see of people out there, men and women alike, people are getting a little bit more self-responsibility around, the answer to my world's problems is not always going to come in the form of a pill. There needs to be more self-responsibility. I need to take action and be more responsible for my own happiness. And I think people are getting better at that.
I absolutely love what you're doing. Do you have like a physical space that people come into, or are you offering it online as well, or how do people get involved?
Bit of both. So to give you an idea of what I do, so my events are a combination of guided meditation, sound healing, and I also guide the group through vocal toning, because I believe that with any practice, that old saying of you can teach a man to fish, or either give a man a fish or teach a man to fish. So I love to teach people, empower them to create their own good spaces. So for me, it's not enough for people to just lie down and listen to sound. I want them to experience sound coming from within them as well. So I'll often do guided toning. So as to where I do it, I tend to run events all over Melbourne at the moment at various different yoga studios, so people can come to specific events. Generally goes over 2 hours. Otherwise, I do, because of COVID, I was, for the first time ever, stimulated to start offering online classes. And so I do offer that. I have an online events group. People can subscribe each month. And we do 1 hour mantra classes and sound healing classes. And this seems to work well, I think, for some people who are unable to get to events. Maybe they're injured, maybe they have young kids and just can't get away. Or maybe they're interstate or overseas. And so that's given me a unique opportunity to connect with some people that can never come to a physical event. But it tends to attract, all genders, all ages, which I really love.
And that would be fantastic. I mean, the in-person events would be so much better, because you've got the energy
It
of
is.
everybody else. But the fact that, you're doing online, and I was thinking, how would that impact the sound? But it wouldn't, because it's no different to playing an MP3, playing a song through your iTunes on your computer would still be having the same, the same notes would still be coming through, and the same tones. And
you know what? I was a skeptic for a long time, Karen, and I resisted doing online. And I actually believed that it was not going to be effective. And I held to that belief for many years. And then COVID forced me to reevaluate everything. And I've never been so happy to be proven wrong. Look, I will say online is not the same as in person. You can't compare them. The fact that sound is a vibration. So it's not something that we just hear, but it's something that you feel. But apparently, for all reports, for people that are on my online events, and I have several people that will come to both live and online, and they love the in-person events, but they're still experiencing a profound shift in their own mental state and physical state through that broadcast. So it is amazing how much is still available to coming through in that set intention. But I think a lot of it too, it's not just about the benefit of sound. It's actually that these people will show up and give themselves that hour you know, to just stop. And I think even if I did nothing, even if I just sort of turned the screen on, sat there and, like, I don't know, played soothing lights or something, the fact that these people know, okay, this is my session time with Katie, I'm going to give myself permission to, you know, shut the door. The dog can go to sleep. The kids can go to bed. The partner can do whatever they're doing. That this is going to be my time for me. And I think that's a big, big part. Not to discredit what I do. I know what I do works and is great, but also really just validating that people choose to just stop. You know, I think that's just such a huge part of whatever you're doing, that you give yourself permission to stop your regular life and go, no, this is my nurture time, you know. And in my events, some people will meditate, some people will chant along, some people will just lay back and listen, and others will grab a nap, you know, because the sound will soothe them. And it really doesn't matter how or what it is that you're getting out of it, as long as you feel better after you've come, you know, than when you first arrived. And if that's the case, then I'm happy.
And I think that when you're in a subconscious state anyway, that's when most of it happens anyway. So
yeah,
the more you know, docile people are and in their space, that's actually better.
The development of our digital world over the last, let's say, 10 years, loosely, you know, at first we thought it would make us more connected, but in a lot of ways it's made people a lot more isolated. So I think the value of creating these sorts of groups, and as I said, whether it's like your Zoom group connecting with other people in the Dalai Lama, or whether it's something that I'm doing or people doing online yoga, that we start reconnecting in an online way, but in a very conscious, authentic way, and that the quality of our online connection is improving, and that people understand that also part of the benefit is that sense of belonging. You know, it's whether you're, you know, you live alone, a single parent, or again, you're in a regional area, it's really easy for people to feel isolated, and this has a massive impact on your physical and mental health. So being able to connect with these groups and feeling like you belong to a community, that every Friday night you know, do, I don't know, basket weaving with your mates online, or you connect with sound healing or meditation or whatever it is, that you feel that you belong. And this in itself also is a huge boost to physical and mental health. So I think that's a big part of this movement as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Before you talked about vocal toning, tell us more about vocal toning.
Sure. So vocal toning really is just where we consciously breathe as deeply as we can, and on the exhale, you allow a tone. So when I say a tone, often I'll use the word om, and we'll just inhale and then exhale the word om. But the reason I think it's important to differentiate toning from singing is, if we say we're going to be singing, instantly in almost everybody's head there's some sort of judgment around, oh, I can or I can't sing, I'm good, I'm bad, or I used to sing or I don't anymore. Whereas with toning, the emphasis is not on how it sounds, but how it feels. And by that I mean that we're simply just allowing that vibration to occur. So one of the other health benefits of vocal toning is that toning, any form of singing, humming or chanting, stimulates a thing called the vagus nerve, which is one of our cranial nerves, runs through the vocal cords, connects with our nervous system, and actually helps to stimulate our parasympathetic nervous system, otherwise known as rest and digest. So this is one of the key players in our body's ability to relax. So vocal toning is really, really effective in activating that natural relaxation response. So it's kind of like this great fun biohack. And I love doing this as a guided practice that particularly, like meditation, the optimal benefits tend to kick in around the 20-minute mark. It takes about that long for the body to respond. And it's the same with vocal toning. We'll create a space where the group will tone together for around 20 minutes, and then you get this wonderful relaxation benefit. And then also, if you're lucky, your body will release these beautiful high chemicals like serotonin, oxytocin, and you can often feel quite naturally high after it for even hours at a time. So yeah, I found that in the context of my events, it's a really lovely additive. It ties in with the musical aspect of healing with sound therapy, and it ties in with that community connection.
I love it. And I love it. I love when you're talking about the sound, the vibrations, because, you know, when we're talking about our cells, you know, and cells succumbing to cancer and, you know, and all these other illnesses we have, it's when the vibration is on a beautiful high frequency, that's when our cells are going to heal themselves better. And I'm not going to straight out categorically say that, just by humming a few notes, you'll cure cancer. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But certainly, when we have chemo and radiation and that, we're absolutely hammering our body, with some terrible, terrible stuff. And sometimes that's the only choice because it's gone so far. But when we vibrate, our cells are vibrating at this beautiful high frequency. We're hitting notes that are naturally healing, and naturally, I'm not going to say curing, but naturally helping the curing process. And it's I think that we miss a lot of this stuff, and a lot of this old, Ayurvedic stuff and ancient stuff we quite critical of, because us new age white people, we know everything, and I think that we've got to really take the time to look back at these ancient things that have been going for a long, long time.
I think there's a lot that we still don't know.
Yeah,
and a lot that we can be in wonder of. But I absolutely, agree with you about the Ayurvedic and even Chinese medical way of looking at the holistic system, that in the West, we tend to separate mental and physical health. And I think that's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
When you were talking before about getting in that positive state, the phrase that springs to my mind is that if we feel good, we heal good.
Yeah, that's good.
And really seeking out practices, and whether it's something as deliberate as yoga or meditation, or whether it's catching up with one of our best friends over a cup of tea and laughing for 3 hours, that could be your wellness practice for the week, catching up with your bestie and having a laugh. Because these sorts of feel-good activities, whatever they are, as long as they're not involving more toxins like alcohol or cigarettes or drugs or whatever, if it's making you feel good, your body's going to heal good.
Yeah. What about your kids? Do they come in tow, and enjoy it and be part of it, or?
Look, they love music. They don't come to my events just yet. I've got twin girls. They're 9 years old, so they're a little bit restless to come and sit and meditate with me. But they absolutely love playing on the drums at home. We have native drums. They'll tap away on my handpan, which is a steel tongue drum. And both my girls are very much into singing. So one of my daughters has just joined her school choir. Not any encouragement from me. I mean, I will encourage them, but I will never be a stage mum for them. But when she said she was keen, I'm like, okay, well, you'll need to, ask about that and find out what you need to do. And at 9 years old, they're now taking a bit more action in, developing their own musicality. But yeah, we love it. Look, we're always singing. We've always got music on in the car. So yeah, there's no doubt that my girls are infused with music kind of 24/7.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you're a kickboxer as well. You don't practice that.
Yeah.
Kids.
I tried. I bought them in COVID. I was doing my sessions via, FaceTime with my trainer. I had a boxing bag in the garage. So I bought them like little, kiddie boxing gloves, but they weren't into it too much. But yeah, look, I love kickboxing. As you mentioned, as we get older, parts of our cells start breaking down. So in my 40s, my back started breaking down. So I thought, well, I'm either going to sit and feel sorry for myself for the next 40 years, or I'm going to build it back up. So I took up kickboxing 1.5 years ago, and it was the best thing ever. It's made my back really strong. And look, the mental health benefit of punching and kicking the shit out of something, I can't tell you, it's so good. It's like better than, I do therapy as well, but my kickboxing is its own form of therapy. I love it. It's a very nice complement to my meditative state. I'm half Zen, half aggro. So I accept my light and shadow, I deal with both of them.
We should accept that we do have this darkness, and it's going to show up, and it's how we deal with it and how we channel it is what's important. We should
definitely. The wellness journey is not about just pretending to be love and light, and I'll often say in my events, that meditation isn't all fairy floss and rainbows. Sometimes you go into meditation and you realize that you're friggin' angry about something, or you're sad about something, or you're in grief, or you're frustrated, and that these feelings come up and that they're there. And the whole point of meditation in particular is not to try and dismiss or repress any of that, but to go, oh, wow, far out. I'm a lot more angry about this issue than I thought I was. Well, now I can take action. Maybe I need to have a conversation with someone, or maybe I need to get on the punching bag, or take positive action to actually deal with it rather than just suppressing these feelings. So, yeah, I'm a big advocate for really being real about wellness. It's not about just, you know, positive Facebook memes and cat pictures and pretending that everything's great. Sometimes it is. But, you know, some days are hard, and we need to just face that head on and be able to be real with ourselves and with people in our lives about that as well.
Yeah. And I think that that's everywhere. It's not just the wellness. If we can be true and genuine and be real, I think we're going to get a hell of a lot further in life. And sometimes we're not good people. Sometimes we're not, and sometimes we're saints. Do you know?
Nobody's perfect.
We're humans. We can't be.
Nobody's perfect. Yeah.
Look, I've absolutely loved this. I really, really love it. And I'm going to ask you about, you know, this podcast is about get off the bench, and you've gotten off the bench in great ways, and really sort of said, no, I'm going to go and do this. And I'm going to follow my heart and follow what feels great to me. And I love that you are bringing it to other people. You didn't just go meditate and say, well, that feels nice, I'll keep it to myself. You're like, oh my God, I can get out there and give this to so many people, and, you know, make the world better. So so it's to inspire people to get off the bench. So what advice would you give to people to get out of their own way? That's the first thing, and start doing that thing that will set them free and just step into their own truth, you know, just to...
I think it's a reminder that life is not something that happens to you. Life is something that you can create.
Yeah.
And for me, I've come at my life that I understand that I'm the creator of my own life. Yeah, of course, there are things that do happen to us that are not in our control. But most of what happens to me in my life is born out of something that I've created, an idea that I've had, or something that I've started.
Yeah.
I think probably one of the most helpful things for me in you know, launching into taking on new ventures, whether it's doing more study or you know, doing a jazz album or traveling overseas to go to a conference, you know, at 6 months' notice or whatever, to rather than think about, well, this is a vision for what I want, or I don't know how to do that, so I won't do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how. For me, if I go, all right, I want to put on a concert with 4 sound healers, and I want to have like food, and I want to have art, and I want to sell products. Well, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but here's the vision. And maybe there's some people that do know how to do that can help me. Yeah. You know, so I think for me, it's about letting go of the fear of not doing stuff just because you don't know how. Yeah. If you have a vision for something, whether it's for yourself or your community or your family, you go, well, this is what I imagine. Now, reverse engineer that. Well, who could I speak to? Who might be able to help me work towards that vision, that goal, whether it's something personal like a health and fitness goal, or whether it's something really big, like I want to build a community centre for my town, or create an art fair, you know, in my local community because I want to boost, you know, interest here, or whatever it is that people want to create. That don't be stopped by the I don't know how. Yep. Sometimes just having the right idea is the biggest part of it. Yeah. And then you can always find people that can support you. Like you go, okay, well, I want to raise $100,000 for my community to, I don't know, create an arts community, but I've got no idea how to do that, you know. But maybe you speak to someone down the road who's an accountant or a bookkeeper, and maybe they do know, you know, and they can point you in the right direction. So I think for me, it's that having the vision is the magic. And then look for people to support it. Just tell people what you want to do. And it's amazing how people will show up for you and go, hey, that's a really good idea. I know this person, or I've got connections with that company. And before you know it, you've got, you know, a dozen people helping you get where you want to go. And whether it's just something for you personally or something for your community. So that was sort of the big game changer for me, probably about 10 years ago. And as you put it, getting out of my own way, you know, not choosing to not do things because I just didn't think I had the skill set. It's like, don't let that get in the way. The idea is all you need, and just go from there.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely love it. And it's so true. When you decide to do it, the universe conspires to make it happen. I don't care. It works. It's
it does.
Yeah. Speaking of your albums, like you've got albums, you've got events, you've got so many things happening. So where can people find you to find out all this information about you? Start following, start subscribing?
Sure. Look, probably the first place to go is just my website, which is underwoodhealing.com.
Yep.
So from there, you'll find links to Facebook, you'll find Instagram. People can come and see me in appointments. There'll be links to iTunes if they want to chase up the music. So that's probably the first best place. Or otherwise, if you're on Facebook, like lots of people are, just search for Katie Underwood. You'll find my page, and that's got all my events. And if you can't find what you're looking for, then you just send me a message and I'll answer your question as it comes up.
Yeah, fantastic. And you're on Instagram and you're on LinkedIn and you
all
know
that.
all of that kind of stuff.
All the places. I'm in all the places. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time you sit down to do something like that, you're putting so much energy out there into the world, and the ripple effect, we will never know, what that ripple effect does for the world, for the planet. So I just love what you're doing, and I'm
thank you.
I'm so happy that you came and joined us today. And
it's been great. It's been delightful to chat with you.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, I hope I'll catch up with you, and
I hope so too. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Karen. Bye.